Uh, please, IT, I request you please to make Dr. Firdous and Dr. Baria as a co-host and myself.
Very good morning to all the participants, the esteemed speakers, the esteemed moderators, the keynote speakers for today. We are really glad to have you at the international conference, international workshop on empirical methods in social sciences and introduction to statistics, econometrics, and big data. I am very glad that we have received a large number of participants and they are still joining. However, in order to honor the time limit, we have started the session now. I would like to formally welcome Dr. Firdous Malik, who is not only a established academician and an active researcher, he also is the president of the Jammu and Kashmir Economic Association. It has been the endeavor of the Jammu and Kashmir Economic Association to promote economics, statistics, and econometrics, both regionally as well as nationally. Today, we have with us an avid researcher, a keen reader, and a passionate educator, Dr. Firdous Malik, who will be undertaking the inaugural session. Dr. Malik, I warmly welcome you formally to the first international workshop, the International Workshop on Empirical Methods in Social Sciences. I hand over the session to you and it is on to you, sir. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much for your kind words, Dr. Bhagirath. And all the credit goes to you before I will start, formally my inaugural. You have been there as a backbone to share this concept that we will be, conducting a workshop which will help all the students, not especially in management and economics, but in all social science. So thank you for your kind word. Dear esteemed keynote speakers, research persons, and participants, as the president of Jammu and Kashmir Economic Association, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome you all to the one-week online international empirical methods in social science workshop. The title is An Introduction to Statistics, Econometrics, and Big Data. This workshop is a collaborative effort between the Jammu and Kashmir Economic Association and the Jindal Center for the Global South. I extend my sincere thanks to Jindal Center for Global South for their invaluable partnership in making this event possible. A special welcome to our distinguished keynote speakers, Professor Adam, Professor Shubman. We are deeply honored by your presence and are very grateful for your time and expertise. Your insights will no doubt enrich the discussions and provide invaluable perspective for all of us as we explore the empirical methods that shape our understanding in social science. This workshop aims to introduce. Let me now introduce the workshop. What is this workshop all about? This workshop aims to introduce the researchers, faculty, and early stage social science professionals or beginners in research. So the empirical methods in social science will be focusing on three key foundations, where from the empirical research beings, that is statistics, then follow up with econometrics, and nowadays the emerging area of big data. By using an optimal mix of theory and practical application. This workshop is one of the unique workshops where we are going to teach you theory And from theory, we are going to, explore the data, tools, and techniques. This workshop will be enriched by lively interactions between experts and participants. As I already told you, it is one of the unique workshops where participants will get their first-hand experience. The workshop will also have several keynote sessions that will discuss the issues that are most essential for emerging and seasoned researchers alike. The hands-on sessions will be concretely train the participants on actual empirical modeling using real-world data sets on cutting-edge tools like Grittle, the softwares like eViews, R, Python, and Tabla. The primary motivation of this workshop is to train and when informed, well-informed, modelers who know how to use various empirical methods at the right place, right time, in the right manner. And I can add one more thing and provide a right direction. The focus is on building a strong theoretical background. As I already mentioned that we are going to take you from theoretical to empirical methodology. Our focus is to train you with a strong theoretical background rather than simply learning software. Nowadays, AI is taking the role. People are using on their fingertips different software, different methods, but they don't have any background. So therefore, we found that this workshop is the need of the hour where we are going to fill this gap. We are providing the theoretical approach to make the researchers learn by theory and appropriate methodology. This workshop is expected to inspire researchers to develop their way of thinking about modeling, to feel the real world using various empirical methods. Their knowledge will be solicited through hands-on sessions on real-world data sets from the social science. So during these 7 days, we will be dealing with different sessions. So I will highlight the name of the session, then Professor Bhagirath will be highlighting in the end note. Our first session will be begin where we will be talking about basic applied statistics for empirical analysis. The second session will be foundations of econometric modeling with hands-on session Grittle. The third session where we will be talking about the developing the classical econometric models. Fourth session, we will be talking about violation of classical model 1. Fifth session will be violation of classical model 2nd. Session 6 will be dealing with advanced empirical methods first, and the session 7, advanced empirical methods 3rd. So the syllabi, the course which we have designed, it almost contains everything which a beginner, a faculty, or a trending researcher nowadays need. So this was all about the workshop which we are going to learn during these 7 days. Now I am as the president of Jammu and Kashmir Economic Association. I want to give you some introduction about our association. Jammu and Kashmir Economic Association is dedicated to fostering meaningful dialogues among young scholars like you, policymakers, and industry leaders. This workshop stands a testament to that mission by bringing all together the participants from various fields, as the example is all of us today. We aim to inspire productive discussions and research collaborations that address the pressing economic challenges of our time. So once again, I extend my gratitude to Jindal Center for Global South, Professor Adam, for her collaboration in organizing this event, and to our keynote speakers, moderators, for their invaluable contribution. I look forward to a week of learning engagement and fruitful exchange. Thank you for all joining us, and I wish you a successful, inspiring workshop. Over to you, Professor Bhagirath.
Thank you so much, Dr. Malik. It is a great opportunity for all of us to be coming here together. And this is perhaps one of a kind workshop that builds from fundamental statistics and moves all the way to the advanced areas of machine learning and big data. I would like to quickly give an overview to all the participants who are currently online. I will just share a screen, which is the screen of our workshop itself, the brochure that we have already shared with all of you. I'm sure you all must be able to see it now. As Dr. Malik has correctly explained that this workshop looks into the three major areas of empirical analysis. And now when we say empirical analysis, we mean any kind of analysis where you need to test a hypothesis or prove something or evaluate something. The fundamental aim of any empirical method of research is to understand whether your idea that you have in your mind as a researcher, is it suitable for the kind of reality, that is the data that you are observing in the real world. Now, how do you convert that idea in your mind as a researcher, analyst, or as a business person, as a management professional, into something that can have an impact in the real world? So you need to deal with data. We are really happy to have the Jindal Center for the Global South collaborating with us, providing us their expertise and background. Let me give a quick overview of what we are going to actually do. Continuation of what Dr. Malik has explained. The major area of study in this is empiricism. And today, the first keynote session by Professor K. Shanmugan, who is the secretary of the highly reputed, the Indian Econometrics Society, and also an associate professor at MS University, Baroda. He will be talking about the foundations of empirical analysis. What does it mean to be an empirical researcher? And our entire workshop is framed around that philosophy. So the first session that we will be discussing will be taken by our very esteemed speaker, Dr. Parmit Kumar Vinit, who is the assistant professor in Department of Statistics, Patna University, as you can see on the screen. And he will be talking about foundations of applied statistics. This is very important because when you do empirical analysis, you need to start with statistics. Even if you use econometrics and big data and all those advanced AI algorithms, fine. But you need to start with the fundamental statistics, how to look at the variable, how to understand the distribution, how to visualize the data that you have, raw data that you have. Those things are the fundamentals for a researcher. Unless you are able to do that, you cannot make sense of more advanced methods. That is what the session 1 will look into tomorrow. Then the next 2 sessions are from my side. So I'll be interacting with all of you. I will be laying the foundations for econometrics. So in the first session, we will develop the background on statistics. In the second and third session, we will shift our gear towards econometrics. Once we do that, and once we understand how basic econometrics works, fundamental econometrics works for economics, for HR, finance, for accounts, for military sciences, for that matter, its applications are unparalleled and very large. So once we have laid down the foundation in 2 of my sessions, we will look into what happens when those foundations are shaken. That is when you violate those foundations. Now, every statistical econometric model needs assumptions. You and I also make assumptions. Only based on assumptions are we able to do our day-to-day works. I'll talk about that in my session day after tomorrow. What does it mean to be talking about assumption? What do assumptions, what kind of role they play? So we will, on 17th October, we will look at how violations of this fundamental classical econometric model that I will be discussing on 16th October, we will talk about that. Exactly how does that, what happens when those assumptions are broken? And those assumptions are broken only because your data is not suitable for it. Not because your theory is wrong. Your idea is correct. What you have. Y and X are related with each other. Income and let's say price and demand are related with each other. Wage and job satisfaction are related with each other. Your theory is correct. But the kind of data you are dealing with may not be suitable for using the kind of econometric or empirical method that you are trying to employ. So the sessions on 17th October and 18th October by Dr. Jasmeet and then Dr. Harsh Sahai will talk about what happens when econometric models do not follow the well-known assumptions. What those assumptions are, they are there on the screen. We will be discussing them. You need to command that very nicely and very well. Then we shift our gear towards more advanced methods, which are at the frontier of the debate in empirical sciences. So on the next day, that is on 19th October, we will again have session by two people, Dr. Harsh Sahai, whom you will have already met a day before. He will be looking into time series econometrics and how time series econometrics is used with a very well-known econometric tool R. But as we said in the workshop itself, our primary aim is not teaching software, but teaching you how to think like an empirical analyst. And we will have moderators, Dr. Neha Pandya at that time. We will have the next session on the same day will be on big data analytics, where we shift from small and mid-scale data to very large volumes of data. And a feature of big data is they are not necessarily numerical in nature. They can be text-based, they can be sentiment-based on YouTube, your likes and dislikes, the scrollings that you do on Instagram, the heart-shaped icons that you press on Instagram, all those things, videos and audios for that matter, all those things when put together create a very complicated data set. So how do you look at that, and what skills do you require to handle those kind of data? That will be talked about by Mr. Lucky Pandey. Mr. Lucky Pandey is currently working at the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare in Delhi. He was once upon a time informally my student. He learned economics well and he is now established well. He is handling big data sets on climate change related issue. And he will be talking about how to work with big data. But once you have big data, the natural question comes that you can't use traditional tools to handle big data, like eViews or Gretel. Maybe you can, but when you have data sets which are not numerical in nature, which are mixed, you can't use these technologies as such. You need to go beyond them. That is where machine learning comes. Big data can be handled efficiently through machine learning, and Mr. Dwarkesh Panchal, another of my informally student for a long time back, he's working in industry as corporate data scientist. He's handling the whole data research and data analytics at Ipsos, which is a market research company in Bangalore. He will be discussing about how to handle machine learning with Python. He will give an overview, give you the necessary skills, you can develop on them. And finally, we will look into panel econometrics, where you combine the features of time series data and cross-sectional data. Now, what are these data? We will talk about that tomorrow, don't worry. So you combine them and you create panels. And Dr. Ram Pratap Sinha is an established authority in the field of financial performance analysis. If you look at data envelopment analysis, if you look at banking performance, insurance performance, you have to refer to Dr. Ram Pratap Sinha's work. And he's currently in Egypt, so he has not been able to join us right now. He's delivering a session there in Egypt. So he'll be there by 18th or so, and on 20th, he has a session. And he also will be using Gretel, something that I find very fascinating. So I hope you got an idea of what kind of discussions we are going to have. For each session, we also have our moderators. Ms. Dipti Bapna, who is the moderator for the first moderator is Dr. Naveen. He is well connected with JKEA. He was there with us in the previous workshop also. He will be handling the entire session in coordinating it and organizing it. We have Ms. Dipti Bapna, who is a banking professional. We will have Mr. Oves, a doctoral fellow of University of Delhi, again, already participating actively in JKEA events. Then we will have Ms. Shivangi Priya. We thereafter have Mr. Ravi Luhar. Then we have my very esteemed colleague, Dr. Neha Pandya from my own department, who will be joining as moderator and handling the time series econometrics with our session, coordinating everything. Then we'll have next session moderated by Ms. Divanshi. Then we have last two sessions, which will be handled in terms of moderation by Dr. Chanda Gulati, Associate Professor at Prestige Institute of Management and Research. And the last session will be handled by Dr. Jaskaran Singh from Punjab. You can see the diversity of people who are going to interact with you, both from the speaker side and moderator side. So we have tried to bring multiple perspectives on table for you. And I think this workshop will be wonderful. You will be able to learn a lot. At the same time, there are points where you might feel it is a little more difficult. Don't worry, we will be providing you reference books, other stuff, perhaps even presentation files, data sets. After the workshop is over, take your time and sit on it. While we have not finalized, we are also thinking of, perhaps we'll be discussing about it, of having a short test at the last day, at the end of the last day. Don't worry, it will not be a compulsory issue, but you should go through it to test how much you have understood and to gain some understanding and overview of where you need to improve yourselves further. So I think with this, all of you must be having good amount of idea. Dr. Malik, if you allow me, can I allow some participants to raise any query they might have? Some were raising hands in between right now.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, participants, now it's the opportunity for you to raise any query, any expectations that you have specifically from us. You can raise your hand. I will take your name and then you can unmute yourself and raise your query to us. Anyone? I think Dr. Ms. Harpit Kaur, she has raised her hand. Harpit Kaur, if you can hear me, I have allowed you to speak. Please raise your query. I think she is unable to listen. Ritika Barik has raised her hand. I have allowed you to speak. Ritika Barik.
Hello, sir.
Yes, hello.
Sir, I don't have e-views or Twitter. I don't.
Very good question. This, with regards to the software and other things, we'll be sending it, the files, as Google
Okay, sir.
Drive link
Thank you,
in the
sir.
group. In the group.
Okay,
But
sir.
tonight,
Thank you.
before every session,
Thank
we'll
you
be
so
doing
much.
that. So you can install the softwares at your end in advance, along
Thank
with
you so
data
much.
sets also. We will do that. All right. Anybody else who would like to raise any? Shruti has raised her hand. I have allowed you to speak. Please speak.
Sir, what about the material that will be shared in the class along with what about the recordings?
Okay. As far as recordings are concerned, it has been the protocol and practice at Jammu and Kashmir Economic Association to we record all the videos, all the sessions, and then they are released on the official channel of Jammu and Kashmir Economic Association on YouTube, as well as other platforms. So our last workshop recordings are already there. This workshop also will be put on YouTube session by session, so you will be able to freely access it. But it will take around 20 to 25 days after the workshop for the team and Dr. Malik to sit down and edit and launch everything. But it will be available. And material will be sent with you. Whatever material we receive from the speakers, we will be one day in advance, we'll be sharing it with you. Anyone else would like to ask anything? Any view that you would like to give? Anybody having any specific expectation, any specific issue or kind of data or topic that you want us to focus upon, which may be useful in your research? Shruti, you can put your hand down. I think you have already raised your query. If anybody would like to ask anything before we shift to our keynote sessions, you can please raise your query. Yeah, Moksh Kalra. Moksh, I have allowed you to speak. Please speak.
Hi, good morning, sir. So,
Yes, good morning.
yeah, I'm very looking forward to this session. And
Great.
particularly in general, I would be like more to learn about the qualitative data analysis. Like
Okay.
for quantitative, it is more general, and we also learn in, in our universities. But for qualitative data is so, I mean, it's difficult to analyze the data with prospects to, data and yes, analyze it and have a, defining conclusion. So yes, I'm very much looking forward to analyze the qualitative data as well.
Okay, okay. That is also a very important point raised by you. I'd like to make a important point here so that we all are on the same page. When we talk about qualitative data, these are data sets whose dependent variable or independent variables, that is the y variable and the x variables. What are these? We will understand. Or all of them, they tend to be on a scale which is not ratio or interval. So they are generally on categorical or ordinal scale. Now, these kind of data need to be converted into a quantitative counterpart. You have to measure them quantitatively while taking into account their qualitative nature. And then you can run traditional econometric analysis very smoothly and very well. So we will see how we can incorporate that dimension. We have not specifically included that, but now that there is a demand for it, we will look into it and we will do something about it. We'll at least give you an overview. So, but let me tell you, whether you use qualitative econometrics or quantitative econometrics, qualitative methods or quantitative methods, the topics to be covered here in the sessions are critical for you. Unless you understand how to handle data, irrespective of its nature, qualitative or quantitative, because the methodologies will remain the same, the underlying logic will remain the same. Unless you understand that, it will not be possible to shift to qualitative analytics. So please do spend good amount of time on reading along with the sessions, studying the foundations, and we will definitely talk about qualitative methods in brief also. Anybody else who would like to ask anything before we move ahead? I think the keynote speaker has arrived. So, Dr. Malik, I hand over the, I hope you are online. I hand over the session to you, Dr. Malik. I think we have allowed good number of queries to be raised. And let me stop the screen sharing, correct? Yeah, so let me stop the screen sharing. Dr. Malik, if you are online.
Yes, I am there.
Yeah, please take over and I'll just escort Dr. Shanmugan and prepare him for our session. By 11:45, perhaps we can start. He's there.
Okay.
So we can give 15 minutes break to people. Just a moment, Dr. Malik, some more people have raised their hand. Deepti has raised hand. Deepti, please raise your query. I have allowed you to speak. Deepti,
No,
you
sir,
have
it was.
Yeah.
I think it was by mistake.
By mistake. Okay.
So yes. So let
the-
me share some important pointers. Meanwhile,
Please.
you just host the presentation. I have shared your YouTube channel of Jammu and Kashmir Economic Association in the chat box. You can follow it for more updates where we are going to share our recording. And meanwhile, I am also requesting all the participants, if they are in a position to open their camera for group photo, that will be circulating on all social media of Jammu and Kashmir Economic Association and in the Center for Global South. So meanwhile, we are interacting each other. You can open your camera and will not waste time. So we can do this activity now. And there are some more hands, so they can unmute themselves and one by one let me check. So if anybody has any query, they can speak. There are people, they have raised their hands, and unmute yourself one by one and you can.
Shruti, I'll request Arshia Sultana. I have allowed you to talk. You can go ahead. Arshia Sultana, we have allowed you to talk. Please raise your query. Diva Kedia, we have allowed you to speak. Please raise your query.
Good morning, sir. I
Good morning.
had a question regarding attendance. Since I have classes on some days that go until 7 to 7:30, so I may not be able to attend the starting of some workshop days. So, will my attendance be affected?
If please join as soon as your activities, your lectures are over, and just drop a message to personally to Dr. Firdous Malik. He will take a note of it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Amitash Shukla, we have allowed you to speak. Please speak.
Morning, sir.
Yeah.
Camera options.
I'm sorry, Amitash Shukla, your voice is very low. Can you increase the volume?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir. Sir, the camera option is, I think, disabled.
Yes, so we request IT team, as we are processing for group photo, kindly allow this time to open the camera to our participant.
Yeah, that is important.
This option has been disabled because we had a bad experience in last seminar. So people are opening the mic, they are opening the video, and they do not know how they are, appearing, because sessions are on record. So if there is some, noise, background noise, and the video appearance is very bad, so it makes, a lot of difficulty while to upload on YouTube. Then it needs a lot of editing. So that is why we have disabled it. So why I request now our IT team, they allow now for group photos so that our participants will open their camera.
Hello. Attendees cannot switch on the cameras.
Now we are working.
Only panelists can switch on the camera.
So what there is no option? So
No, sir.
okay, that is a bad.
This is webinar, not a meeting, sir.
Yes, but we are doing it in previous one. We have done it. So hopefully in next session, this option should be there.
Yeah, in next session, the IT team should ensure that camera option is permissible. It is very important for us, for our record and other things.
Okay.
Last time, I think we had it. So this time it is fine. We are going to meet many days now. This is just the beginning. We are meeting till next Sunday, but tomorrow we will be having group session. So everybody is requested to download the Zoom background that I am having, Dr. Malik is having behind our screen, and put it in their computers. And then you have to go to the video option, and there you will have option to, in the video option, you will have the option to adjust background and effects. In that, you will be able to add this particular image. And then whenever you switch on the video camera tomorrow, not today, you will be, that background will be visible. So please do that. We will keep the group photo for tomorrow. Dr. Shanmugan has arrived. And Dr. Malik, I'll take 5 minutes, set up everything, and then we can start with the first keynote session. I hand over the session to you.
Yes. So there is some hand from iPad. So please, unmute yourself and ask that query. Dana, are you there? So we will be taking 5 minutes to start our first session, inaugural session for subscription. Meanwhile, if you are having any query, you can raise it, or else if you do not have any query, you can take break of 5 minutes.
Dr. Malik, sorry to interrupt. I'm setting up the thing, so I will be logging out and then again logging in from another computer. So please do not mind.
Yeah, sure.
This is Dr. Bhagirath itself, and I just wanted to confirm if Dr. Malik, if everything looks good now.
Yes, it's all set. Yeah.
Oh, so Dr. Shanmugan has arrived, and in I think 5 or 10 minutes we can start. He has just arrived. So by 11:45 we can start the first keynote session.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, participants. Please take a break for 10 minutes and they're back sharp by 11:45.
I want to confirm from the IT team. So there are some participants, they are unable to join the session. So can you allow them to join the session?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
There are few queries that one student, namely Dipti, she is unable to join the session. You have removed her. So kindly, she has shared the screenshot on WhatsApp. You have removed. It shows that host has removed her from the session. Dipti, she will be joining by the name of Dipti. So kindly allow all those participants, they are all registered. So allow them to join. In between, if you are able to open this camera for the participants, that will be great.
हेलो
Yes, sir.
सर ये
I am request.
दीप्ति सर ज्वाइन नहीं कर पा रही है
Yes, yes, Dipti.
सर इसमें तो हमने तो रिमूव तो किया नहीं है सर
Dipti.
उसमें लैपटॉप में अगर ज्वाइन कर रही है तो क्लियर कैसी वगैरह करके फिर से दोबारा ज्वाइन करें
Okay. So I am requesting you, if you are able to open this camera option for participant.
और सर पार्टी जो अटेंडीज हैं सर वो कैमरा ऑन नहीं कर सकते हैं क्योंकि ये सर वेबिनार है और वेबिनार में सर ओनली जो पैनलिस्ट होते हैं वही कैमरा ऑन कर सकते हैं
Now we need to take a group photo. So how we will be taking the group photo?
सर फोटो तो नहीं ले सकते हैं सर
So, but make sure tomorrow we should have this facility.
अगर सर नेक्स्ट
Tomorrow we
सेशन
have
अगर
to
कल
interact. The
है तो
participants
उसके लिए
will
क्या
raise
करना
the
होगा
question.
वो उसमें वेबिनार की जगह पे मीटिंग बनाना पड़ेगा फिर उसके बाद में जो है कैमरा ऑन कर सकते हैं सर
हाँ, जो कल हमारे वो होगी ना सेशन, तो उनके लिए आप यही मीटिंग ही बना लो.
सर तो उसके लिए जो मैम ने मेल किया है ना सर उसमें लिंक मिल गया होगा उनको ऑलरेडी तो उसमें
लिंक
मेल
वो,
दोबारा
हाँ वो
मेल
हम करेंगे दोबारा ईमेल ना आज, लेकिन आप वो क्रिएट करके रखो जो
ठीक है
आपने किया है ना, क्रिएट एज ए वेबिनार, उसको मीटिंग आप करके रखो. हम आपके लिए जो भी करना होगा वो हम करेंगे,
ठीक
क्योंकि
है
इंटरेक्शन होगी ना. कल जब लेक्चर होगा, टीचर लेक्चर देगा तो
हम्म
स्टूडेंट क्वेश्चन पूछेगा, तो वो स्टूडेंट दिखेगा नहीं,
हाँ
तो
जी
उतना
हाँ जी
अच्छा नहीं रहेगा.
ठीक है नहीं तो
तो
आपको सर
बाकी के
ये जैसे ये वेबिनार एंड हो जाता है आप एक मेल ड्रॉप
हाँ
कर दीजिएगा तो हम उसको चेंज कर देंगे
हाँ जी, हाँ जी, हमने आपको अभी इन्फॉर्म कर लिया. आप इस पे काम कर लो, अभी हम
ठीक
भेजेंगे जब मैडम दे देगी लेक्चर, तो फिर
ठीक है
उसके बाद आप कर लेना.
ठीक है
ओके. So we apology for all the participants today. You will be unable to, open the camera, but we are making sure tomorrow you will be able to on your cameras. So you can take now, break. So we are announcing that maybe in 10:45, 5 minutes are there, so you can take a little break.
अरे आप लोग भी पियो. Dr. Malik, this is Shanmugan. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
sir.
Yeah, he could hear me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are with you. You
Nice,
are audible.
nice meeting you, gentlemen, and you and Bhagirath made it possible to move forward for all of us. Very good. Now that we have all become old, now you people will have to take on the things on academic front,
Yes, sir. We are trying.
That is
But
very nice. In particular, I am happy that you are from Kashmir, and earlier I used to go to University of Kashmir.
yes, sir.
That Jasmine madam was there, Imran Manal was there, and then now I stopped going.
Yes, yes. They are there. Sir.
I think the madam is retired, correct?
No, no. She is, I think, having few more years.
Okay. So we'll get back. I'll get back to you on time. Maybe another whatever the time that. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes. We are having one raise. So Nigar Afroz, kindly unmute yourself and speak.
You want me to unmute?
No, sir. There was some query, so I was
Okay.
referring to them. Yes.
Dr. Malik, am I audible to you?
Yes, but the mic is not well. There is a lot of noise.
Is my voice clearer now?
No, no, it is breaking. Are you using headphone?
Yes, yes, I'm using headphones.
Can you remove it? Try to remove it.
Without headphones from this computer, it will be difficult. But if my voice is all right, what is the quality of voice now?
No, no, voice is very bad. So try to log in by phone if possible.
Very warm afternoon to all the participants. It is now time for us to move towards our. Can you please confirm, Dr. Malik, if I am clearly audible?
Yes, yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. So a very warm welcome to all of you to our first keynote session. The two keynote sessions that we have kept, the primary aim of these sessions is to pitch you the philosophy of empirical research and make you understand the challenges and the dimensions that are not typically covered in a empirical methods course. So we have with us for the first session, Professor K. Shanmugan. He is the secretary of the Indian Econometric Society and is also serving as an associate professor at the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda. He has been a long-standing researcher with an outstanding background and a high proactive, intensive approach towards empirical research. From point one, when he started his journey, he has been handling different kinds of data sets from different environments under very different conditions with which today's generation may not be accustomed to. He also happens to be my mentor and guru, and it is a wonderful pleasure to have somebody like him on board with us. As you can see on the screen, participants, his session is on The Fundamentals of Empirical Analysis, a primer for emerging researchers. Now, these are the philosophical issues that you need to understand. These are coming out of his almost 4 decades of experience as a professional, as a researcher, as an academician, and he's going to summarize them and in a quite a compact manner so that all of you can gain and take home some critical lessons to mold yourself to become good researchers in coming years. So, without much ado, I welcome Professor K. Shanmugan on the online dash, and in around 30 seconds, he will start the session.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I wholeheartedly thank Dr. Bhagirath and Dr. Malik for inviting me to spare some time with all of you to discuss and interact essentially on what we call is the fundamental pitching for empirical analysis. I know all of you are in the beginning of your journey, or somebody already must have got into PhD, or already somebody must have received PhD. Irrespective of the background, that I would like to share some of the thought process which I have been teaching in the classrooms for several years. Essentially, I am an econometrician, but I thought of taking up good amount of studies on qualitative research, though econometrics addresses good number of qualitative modeling processes. And I also understand that all of you have come with a good expectations and greater enthusiasm to learn and also disseminate some of the information that you yourself have learned. And I thank also the Kashmir, JNK, Jammu and Kashmir Economic Association and OP Jindal University for taking up this cause of organizing this event into various lectures. I believe that this is my first lecture giving you a broad framework for what you think will follow in the coming days. All of you who have been invited as an experts, those who are there in the other side of with me or with me also, would get it into various issues that are, step by step will make you build what is known as research, which is to be adopted not only in your personal life and professional life, but also for the social cause. Now, I also believe that this lecture is spread into introduction to statistics, econometrics, and big data model. Now, these are all very different issues, very broad issues. In fact, the kind of setup that they have come out with suggests that it is an introduction. In deeper detail, in fact, one has to teach for more than 3 to 4 semesters if you really want to achieve command over the subject. But I would not expect everything to be delivered here. Rather, it is not possible to be doing it. What I suggest to the friends who are listening to all of us, take a guideline and the foundation from here, and then continuously start doing your work as a method that would keep you informing your, whatever the amount of knowledge that you require for the research building. Now, my topic is related to empirical analysis. And I have structured my talk, half-an-hour talk, into very few PPTs. Otherwise, what will happen is I will keep talking something else. Then I will be having an area where that I am not able to deliver what I wanted. in the sense that I would require more time. Therefore, I have structured my topic. Now, before we talk of research, what is more important to an individual, a gentleman, lady, or a gentleman, is to know the subject very well. Please remember, I will be talking all that for another half an hour from my own experience with a student, which you may not typically find it in the textbook. So this is very important for your research. Whatever I have encountered with my student at both postgraduate as well as PhD level, that it helps you as an individual to overcome some of the finest issue, otherwise which would block your mental understanding of research progress. To begin with, please remember that you may be belonging to any discipline. I'm sure there are people from economics, there are people from finance, there are people from management, there are people from other social sciences are attending the workshop. But please remember one thing, that irrespective of your subject, what you should understand for the research is to know your subject very well, starting from the word, what is that subject? For example, what is economics? What is management? It has to be crystal clear. It has to be understood first. I have encountered many students trying to enthusiastically come to me saying that, sir, I would like to do research, but whereas they would not be knowing the foundations of the subjects. So this is one thing that I would like to put importantly to you, because many people strongly believe that their curriculum which they have studied in the postgraduate is enough. That is not enough actually. If you don't know the subject, you will encounter good amount of problem in the coming days in your research. So better, the step one should be clear from the beginning, that is the subject knowledge spread into various areas of the subject. Say, for example, if you are talking about finance, then analytical finance and applied finance should be known to you. Analytical finance can spread into the foundation, that is economics analysis, theoretical finance, and behavioral finance, financial engineering. All these things are analytical finance, which you do not typically find in your MCOM courses. Without these areas, it is difficult for you to study the research proposal for your own understanding, okay, and then proposal making for your progress. For example, some people come to me, talk about GDP, talk about inflation, but they don't have a clear-cut idea about the subject macroeconomics. So these are certain things that you must keep in mind. Then why research is important? See, research is today the curriculum that you have in your postgraduate classes and PhD classes, etc. Once upon a time, it was a research topic. Go back to classical days, go back to Keynesian days, or go back to management science in the area where before the industrial revolution took place, or again after the industrial revolution took place, what is the kind of research environment that they have created to understand the then existing management problem, economic problem, etc. And those things now form as a curriculum for all of us, as a foundation for all of us, fundamental subject for all of us. Therefore, research is important from this particular point of view. Rest we will discuss later. Now, in my own way, after quoting Grinnell, I have defined certain things. Definition, sometimes people take it very, easily. It's a definition. It has to be learned for the sake of learning. No, definition gives you the first opening store of what the knowledge that you will be taking up in further course of action. If you look at the research, according to Grinnell, a careful, systematic, patient study and investigation in some field of knowledge undertaken to establish facts and principles. Now, these facts and principles are very important. It is something like in science, people keep talking about discovery and invention. Typically, that does not happen in social sciences. What we have is a fact. What we have is principles. Fact is like a discovery. It is existing already. Data is revealing. Now, the information that you are undertaking for a study will reveal what kind of facts on a particular law, on a particular proposition, on a particular set of construct that you would like to understand is actually underlying. Now, friends, the principle is one that is more of a theoretical understanding of the construct that you develop to know the subject. This comes in a more rigorous theorizing framework, such as what we have heard from classical days, Keynesian days, until today. Whatever the economic analysis, that most of the economic analysis, I would not say everything of them, most of the economic analysis has come out of theorizing. Now, having been said that, the entire understanding of research is to unearth the principle and establish certain fact to know and to solve whatever you have created as a research proposition and objective. Now, I would not be putting in heavy words, but if you look at empirical analysis, what is empirical analysis? Empirical analysis is something which is supported by your observations and facts. Facts means the data that is revealing some sort of an information leading to some knowledge which is useful for your research or for the problem itself that you have defined. Now, empirical analysis can refer to the systematic method consisting of explaining the problem, what actually the research problem is. Say, for example, the stock prices are going up, say for 10%, 20%, 30%, 40% in some specific stocks, and overall market say maybe 5%, 2%. What has propelled the variation in the prices by itself is the problem that you are trying to investigate. Then formulating the hypothesis, formulate them properly. What do you want to analyze? Whether you just would like to understand the variation, that is upward and downward movement of the prices, or what factor is governing the stock prices is something that you would like to analyze. That becomes what is known as hypothesis. Collecting the information accordingly, based on the hypothesis, based on your need, you will collect the information on information that is essentially a numerical, algebraic, or algorithmic framework of what you wanted in the form of data. Then analyzing the facts and reaching certain conclusion, either in the form of solution towards concerned problem or in certain generalization pertaining to some theoretical formulation. So it can, both the things can happen. You want a problem to be solved. Say, for example, you wanted to know that what are the factors that is governing the variation in the stock prices today. That is a problem. Now, it could lead to, in the whole process, also it could lead to some new factor, new underlying process is emerging to explain the stock prices that can lead to some theoretical formulation that so far we have not encountered such kind of analysis in the literature itself. Therefore, the empirical analysis is cutting across both understanding the fact and also formulating a theoretical framework for the analysis. Now, when I say this, I also must say what is not empirical analysis. So this is more important. And this is what most of the people have been doing in your journey as a researcher. Without knowing, sometimes you are inculcated that you do this. Okay. I am putting it in a very lucid formulation of words so that you can understand without any technical definition that is required to understand research. One, it is not merely information gathering. Many people are into it. Many people are into it. Simply they collect some literature probably if I can be more harsh with my own community, just copying them, and that information is processed in a manner that the software that are kept for plagiarism, they are not able to capture. These are the techniques that generally across India it is followed, and in many developing countries also. This is not research, that is empirical analysis. I would not go into research right now, but I will concentrate on the empirical analysis. This is not an empirical analysis. Okay. Second, it cannot be transporting the fact from one resources to another resources. For example, from e-resources to book to e-resources, or more crude version is compact e-resources, from a well-elaborated e-resources to a compact e-resources. This cannot be a research in the sense of empirical analysis, and it may aid in understanding existing knowledge more accessible, process the existing knowledge more formally, etc. But it does not add to any due dimensions of the knowledge. Then recycling the existing information. This is very serious problem. This is not an empirical analysis. Recycling in the sense that, for example, I collected 10 different informations, and that 10 information, I come to know that these are the key debate that is going on that particular topic. Then what I would do, as if I have done it, existing information I will recycle in a manner that the person who is reading that would feel that it is my idea, yet he won't be able to claim that you have copied from them. So that kind of thing is very serious thing that has been going on, and that is not an empirical analysis. Then information is not matching the model. I mean, this is very still more serious issue. Still more serious issue, because we call it as push button econometrics. What is this push button econometrics? You make a model based on somebody who has already made it, collect some information which you yourself do not know. Say, for example, you may be the gentleman who has already made an original model, may be talking about the cycle in the GDP, but you will merely collect GDP. You will not be able to go in detail, understand the cycle, estimate the cycle, and substitute such information for the modeling process. Rather than doing that, what you would simply do is collect GDP data, run the regression, run the model, and then just write whatever is typically told to you. So this is the case where information is not matching the model. In a simple language, I have written in a very in a in an informal, unnecessary language, I would call it. We call them as a push button econometrics. Aapne bola, sir, you asked me to learn this software. I have learned it. I have put it into the practice. I collected the information. I pressed the button. Yes, the answer is ready. So that kind of thing is very dangerous. In fact, this Bhagirath and Dr. Malik will be talking more about it later. A priori conclusion about the finding. Some people would not even start beginning the lecture, research or empirical analysis, particularly empirical analysis, but they will reach the conclusion first. Based on the conclusion, they will start maneuvering rest of the things to get idea about the empirical estimates and understanding. So that is also very serious. Ethical dimension, we will talk later. Now, this is something I think more serious issue, the issue that theoretical dimension and empirical analysis. No, I go back to again recollect your memory. Empirical analysis is to investigate the existing information and data to know whether the theory that you are applying is correct or not. That's it. Very simple language. Let's not confuse about it. Therefore, the origin of such process has to come from the theory. That is why I'm saying theory is important. Again, I'll give you an example. Say, for example, you want to know inflation, you want to estimate inflation, forecast inflation, okay? Everybody is interested. Inflation is a common issue. Now, there are good amount of literature about inflation. Inflation is not a new thing. In fact, most of our organizations in India, government organizations such as RBI, Government of India's ministries, institutes, they are all intensively into research in inflation. Now, they are supposed to follow, what they observe is different. That comes second. First, they should tentatively understand what kind of theoretical formulation is trying to explain the Indian context of inflation. It is then that idea is formulated, and then that idea is applied on your data. Data might reveal much more than what you have formulated. That's a different issue. But the beginning has to be theory. And theory also, you must understand that, what is theory? This is the big question. My students keep on talking about it. What is theory? The idea of theory starts from your textbook and references. Please remember, this is a starting point. Second, advanced references on the same idea. Say, for example, if you want to talk about inflation, there are elementary textbooks on macroeconomics, such as one written by Mankiw, the one written by Stanley Fisher, and one written by Richard Freyon. All these are very elementary textbooks. You read them first. And then slightly advanced text, such as David Romer has written Advanced Macroeconomics. Read that book. They will give you good amount of idea about what is inflation and how do we measure them, what are the measuring issues, and what are the competing schools of thought in explaining inflation, etc. And then you will settle down to a point where what explains inflation in the Indian context. So therefore, theory is not just, you collect from the literature here and there, literature in the sense that published article. Of course, public article is a part of your literature. But before going to that, I think you need to investigate some foundations of the topic. Second, nature of economic and business analysis broadly, even social sciences, can vary across time, across person, and across places. The problem with economic analysis, business analysis is, so more generalized facts. When you apply, say, for example, in physics, accurate science, in physics or in chemistry, whatever it is, if you want to produce water, you need to have H2O. H2O, if you combine oxygen and nitrogen in the proportion that is suggested, whether it is a Kashmir or Kanyakumari, water will come out. But in economic analysis, if you want to understand food inflation in Kashmir, food inflation in Gujarat, food inflation in Kanyakumari, they are a different cup of teas. But analysis is same. The theoretical analysis is same. So, for example, I will give you still more lucid example. Suppose you want to understand demand for a sweater. Demand for sweater. What is our economic theory says? Demand is the function of prices, income, and prices of substitutes and complementaries, etc. Now, if you go to Kashmir, sweater is essential. If you come to Kanyakumari, you will not find anyone wearing sweater. So, demand function for sweater in Kanyakumari is totally different. It is actually absent. There is nobody is demanding there. Partially, people will demand in Gujarat during winter. So, the independent variable explaining the demand for sweater will vary across the region, across the person. Person means different income group, different ethnic group, different dimensions of strata that within which people live. Similarly, what was demand 1 year back, 10 years back is totally from what is demand today. Now, these are all the economic laws or tendencies. Understand this. Logical tendencies. It's not exact law. Say, for example, vegetable prices in Baroda, vegetable prices in Srinagar, for example. Do you think that only one prices will be prevailing in the cities? No. There will be 100 prices. But in your microeconomic theory, there is only one prices, market clearing prices is given there. That market clearing prices is an average. Please remember, it's an average. It is in your statistical language, it is arithmetic mean. So your law hold true on an average. It is not exactly in a manner that they are laws of tendencies, logic of tendencies. Okay. So this is very important for economic business laws, even social laws. Okay. Now, third, empirically conceived analysis. There are many things that are there in theory. Like, for example, if I bring 10 sabjis, if you want to make a mixed vegetable, you will take sufficient enough quantity only to make it. You will not put everything. So you have to extract theory, cut down that area, which is typically applicable to your context of investigation. So whatever you conceive should be a part of essence of a theoretical framework, which is already there in the literature. Next, empirical model can be theoretical construct or a mathematically rooted econometric model. This is a concise framework. You see, people talk about model, you know, what is model? Model can be a theory, okay? Model can be a picture or diagram. Model can be an algorithm. Model can be purely mathematics. Model can be econometric analysis where you would like to estimate some parameter to understand the relationship. Now, which one you would like to opt for? From the theory, it has to be understood. Then competing analysis should be captured on the same theme. If you talk of inflation, at least 7-8 schools of thoughts are there to explain inflation. Now, what explains the inflation variations or inflation forecast in India is something that you have to read the data, read the literature, and literature means existing literature on the empirical analysis, and then come back to theory and extract that framework. Keep this idea in your mind. Please, this is very important. This is the essential thing. Even before you meet your guide, ensure that these things are done. Then empirical analysis can be grouped into three important sets or framework dimensions that I have written. One, empirical analysis can be a relationship in the sense that I'll give you an example of sociology. A GDP growth rate, variation in the GDP growth rate can be negatively related to social unrest across the country. This is what happening in Pakistan. This is what happening in Sri Lanka. This is what happening in our neighboring all countries, including Bangladesh. Long-term social unrest leads to negative variation in the GDP. Now, this is a relationship. Demand is the function of price. This is a very, very minute, very simplified, a very small investigation called a particular relationship. Okay, this is the foundation of empirical analysis. Second, the process. Process consists of many relationships. Many variables are getting determined by what is known as independent variable, that is variable that change by itself. Okay. Then a system, the entire system. See, I'm not using any technical languages that requires a definition. In a very lucid manner, I am trying to explain to you. And this has a definite technical relationship. I'm sure people will discuss about it. Or After going through, I will give you references with Bhagirath. I have already downloaded books for you. So you read them, it will help you out. Then a system consists of many processes. So what do you want to investigate in empirical analysis? Whether you want to stick to your only a very small, depending upon your context, depending upon your question, depending upon your need, depending upon the facility that is at your disposal, whether you would like to talk about a particular relationship or go further into a process leading to a larger debate on a question or a system that you would like to develop to inherently understand its deeper meaning and deeper empirical framework. Now, these are certain things. I think that first line, whether I don't know it is visible to audience or not. So these are very important premises that if you are talking about, let me minimize this. Okay.
Yes, it
These
is
are the
visible to
steps.
all of.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, gentlemen. Now, all of you please follow this procedure. Okay. देखो मैं आपको ये बोल रहा हूँ. I will share this PPT with you. You simply go by. Of course, you have to put a hard work. Okay. Just not simply going. You have to put a hard work. Without hard work, nothing comes out. In fact, I have been talking to my student. There is no substitute for hard work. This is something I keep telling them in the postgraduate classes. If there is any substitute, I also would not work hard. I will also lie down, enjoy my life without any hard work. Now, this is the premises, foundation with which you would look at address the empirical analysis. First, in theory, let me tell you categorically, before you start research, variables must have definite relationship under your context, under given context. Whatever the research area debate that you have sketched out, whatever the relationship that you have identified, that academic, theoretical, existing analysis should explain. Then only you should apply. Otherwise, don't apply. Don't apply. To begin with. Then variable should be properly measured. Each variable that you are discussing to understand your research process, research question, research objective, each variable should be properly measured. For example, I'll give you a small example. I keep giving this example in the class also. Taste and preferences. Okay, consumer survey बनाना वाला है. इसके बारे में आप थोड़ा सोचना पड़ेगा. Sometimes people understand taste as preference and or preference as a taste. Now, what does it mean? Say, for example, I want lemon-based drink. Lemon-based drink, that is my taste. There are many lemon-based, drinks that are available, or tasting like sour lemon, Limca, and Sprite. There are many available. Suppose if I say I want Limca, I'm referring to preference. Now, when you collect data or when you go in deep detail of marketing survey, consumer behavior survey, purchasing decision survey, you tend to confuse. In the fundamental itself, you are confused. Then rest of the things will deviate. Next, system or process or relation that you discuss should be parsimonious. Parsimonious in the sense, neither it is too short nor it is too complex. Then what does it mean? It means the research structure, research process, research system that you evolved captures what theory has to say on your research question. Any lackage, Now, theory says little bit more than what I have examined, then you have to add. Unnecessarily don't add anything. At the same time, unnecessarily don't cut down anything. Empirical analysis should be rigorous. Yes. It is not a cup of tea that, morning you estimated something, evening you finished up your matter, If you want to write a very good paper, it takes come se come 3 to 4 months. Then only you can write a very good paper. Average paper I'm talking about. Very good average paper. Let me put it this way. It is not a question of 10 days or 15 days. You can write 10 days, 15 days, provided you have attained a sort of a authority in the subject that without much references, you are into the writing, into writing. But you have to do hard work, rigorous work in articulating the theory for empirical analysis, rigorous work in understanding the data. After understanding the data, collecting the information, whether it is a primary survey or secondary data. If it is secondary data, whether you want trend, whether you want cycle, whether you want season, or you want combination of them, or you want just raw data, or you want growth rate, whatever you want, that is matching your objective and question, that is explaining the theory, have to be understood. And then it should be systematic in the sense that investigation follows the logical sequence. Like, that's what I'm saying. Some people enter into the research without knowing theory. So that is what I'm referring to. If you don't know the theory, better study and then get it into empirical analysis. Model should be verifiable, indicating that the basis of your findings are correct and can be verified, including the accuracy of the model. Now, this is something that is very, very model. When I mean, it is not a mathematical model or econometric model, as in the sense that I have defined earlier. Okay, it could be a theoretical proposition as well. Now, if you follow this, automatically you will become, in the initial stage, a researcher who can be very serious in undertaking empirical analysis. Please remember, we are talking about serious researcher. We are not talking about just researcher. Okay. If empirical analysis is carried out, it has to have, at any given point in time, it has to have these 3 qualities. Otherwise, it is not empirical analysis. Okay. I think what want of time, I am just rushing through. Okay. And otherwise, I would have given a good amount of example to explain. Now, stability, for example. What do you mean by stability? The relationship, say for example, you are saying that the negative variations in the GDP can be explained by the social unrest. You make a proposition like this. Then you make a model, theoretical model, okay? Try to collect the data, try to collect the information. So this kind of relationship, okay, should not be very purely temporary. It should be stable. In the sense, yesterday it was there, the same relationship. Today the same relationship is there. Tomorrow it is likely to be there. So that rigorous exercise you have carried out. Critical scrutiny means the model that you have applied, the method, research method that you applied, the estimation process that you have carried out is verified, okay, is verified for their assumption. For example, we say that our data framework follows normal distribution. Deliberately, I did not want to use all these words, but I'm sure you must be knowing all these things. At least you must have heard about normal distribution, a distribution which looks like a bell shape. So this bell shaped distribution, you assume in the sense that you propose yourself, the data that I collect from a population, the population distribution is normal. If not normal, offshoot of the normal distribution is existing. What are the offshoot of normal distribution? T distribution, F distribution, chi-square distribution. Any one of them can be made into normal if your sample size increases. Okay, your sample size increases. Now, the dynamics between population and sample size, they will discuss in time to come. But what I'm trying to right now tell you is entire information that you can conceive to get on a particular investigation is known as population. That's all. Population is not number of people in the country. People have some misunderstanding about this, even after studying statistics course. Second, all conceivable information that I can think of can be extracted by few information to study the innumerable number of information that are available. That is known as sample. Now, the relationship between sample and population is also stable. Not only the theoretical proposition is stable, this is also stable. This is the first and fundamental requirement for empirical analysis. Otherwise, don't carry empirical analysis. People will reject your idea for publication because it is evident when I read the article, when I read your research degree, or sorry, research thesis, or when I read your report, I will be able to deduct all these things in a manner that whether the stability condition is followed by you or not. This is more, I don't know whether you understood or not. This is more of a technical requirement which people will discuss in time to come when they collect data, when they analyze the distribution, when they analyze the hypothesis testing. All these things they are going to discuss this in a different words. I am putting it in a very, very different word, elementary word, so that your empirical analysis is made on a very effective footing. Second, reliability and consistency. Now, reliability can have two dimensions. One dimension is, put it in a layman language. If I do the same research, I should get the same result. Please remember, this is reliability. What you have done, if I repeat that in some other area of understanding, then I should get the same result. That is reliability. Okay, reliability does not mean that you are relying on something. Okay. Second, reliability can be 100%. Okay, reliability can be 100%. The probability is 1. The probability is 1. What if this is the probability is something that I will discuss later, but to put it in a very simple language, if 10 people do research on the same theme, they should get almost same result, similar conclusion. Then the investigation, empirical investigation that you carry out is said to have reliability. Reliability is possible only when there is a consistency. This is a condition. What do you mean by consistency? Let me define in a non-technical sense. Consistency means the information that are unlimited at your end is slowly and gradually captured more and more by the researcher if requirement is sought for, if requirement is created. Or in other words, if I increase the sample size, the picture will become clearer and clearer regarding reliability. So that is what the first condition, that is consistency, is the first condition for reliability. Then validity. Validity is the result that you get, empirical result that you get, supposed to reflect on what you wanted exactly. What you wanted exactly. What you wanted means not according to your whims and wills, but according to theory. Theory says, if you increase the money supply, inflation will increase. Inflation will increase in the long run. Now, that is what theory says. Whether it increases by 20%, 10%, 2%, it's a different matter, but it will increase. That is known as validity. If money supply increases, nothing happens to inflation, then all your exercise that you are doing, examining that money supply is supposed to impact the inflation, is gone for sex. So that is not the scenario of validity. The validity should be there. So empirical analysis from the beginning, if it is pitched through proper theory, if correct data is collected properly, model is understood properly, then validity will be definitely there. If these three things are not there, then it is not known as the correct foundation for empirical analysis. Any one of them you have to check. Next, inductive versus deductive. Of course, this is a very big debate. I don't know how exactly I will be able to, I think I am exceeding time. Maybe another 5 minutes, Malik? Bhagirath? 5 to 10 minutes?
Yes,
Or
please,
should
sir.
I wind up quickly?
So you can take more 5 minutes.
Sir, go ahead.
Okay. सुनिए आपको मैं क्या बोलूं? This is a very big topic. I can only throw some idea. You know, it's like रामायण में 2 कैरेक्टर के बारे में बातें करने का, ऐसा राम and सीता, that's it, ऐसा हो जाएगा. देखिए, I have already downloaded a book for you. I have given a book written by Karl Popper, who all along said that the empirical logic that is formulated on the basis of inductive analysis is not sufficient. Remember, I am making this statement knowing fully well all of you know what is inductive and deductive analysis. I'll give you a very simple example or maybe simple definition. If you, from a specific to general, if you analyze, okay, specific to general, if you analyze, that is inductive. From a general to if you go to specific, that is deductive. It's like a deductive, you know, like police wala, you know, broad thing leke baithega, बाद में crime में जाके पकड़ेगा ये आदमी ने crime किया करके. That is deductive. Opposite to deductive is inductive. What we do in the empirical analysis, that we go to a minute point. You know, our estimation, our analysis goes into specific area, and then we generalize. Our conclusions are generalized. And we say there are a lot of schools of thought in econometric analysis. London School of Economics modeling on macroeconometric framework is based on this kind of logic, inductive logic. Inductive logic is good. I'm not saying inductive logic is bad. Say, for example, take inflation. Our headline inflation, that is overall inflation, is say 6%. So that is inductive observation. Inductive observation in the sense that overall Indian inflation is 6%. So we say that prices are increasing on an average. Please remember, this word has to be used. If not used, you have to understand this. The change in the economic variable is always taking place on an average. So inflation is increasing on an average by 6%. Now, what is the inside story? There are many inside stories. There can be 10 prices which may be drastically falling. There can be 100 prices which may be increasing. The picture is different if you go inside. Net effect is 6%. There can be commodity whose price is falling by 10%, 5%, 20%. There can be commodity whose price is increasing by 20%, 7%, 1%, etc. This is one side of the story. Another side of the story, into different commodity box and baskets. Say, for example, food inflation, non-food inflation. Inflation of consumer goods and producer goods. Inflation of durable goods and non-durable goods. If you go inside, the story is different. Now, what do you do? What do you want to do now? Now, if you go inside and then see, probably your 6% inflation has to be stated with some terms and conditions. With some terms and condition. What is the terms and condition? Number one terms and condition is that, look, commodity prices, 10 commodities are decreasing by, say, on an average 15%. 20 commodities are increasing by, on an average, say, by 10%. Net result is 6%. That is, I am just giving a hypothetical example, okay? If this process continue and the factor governing them continue, then 6% will continue. Simply saying 6% is not giving any sufficient amount of information about the very understanding of inflation and then policy making accordingly. The policy making is very important. Inflation, you are measuring not for the sake of fun. You are measuring for the social policy, government policy, industrial policy, agricultural policy. Even firm would like to, every firm that is producing goods and services would like to look at inflation and then form their industrial and organizational policy accordingly. Say, for example, with a 6% inflation rate, those firms who are producing the commodity which has falling tendency of prices, then what is their marketing policy? And that policy can be different from those firms who's producing the product whose prices are increasing. Now, there cannot be a same policy for both. Now, what I'm trying to say, that you have to infer, first of all, you have to understand the theoretical analysis from both deductive and inductive, make model based on both, also draw the inferences based on both. Okay, so this is very broad. In fact, I can go on talking by giving example, but we don't have time. I'm sure this much is more than enough for you. Now, normative versus positive. What is positive? What generally you see in the literature is positive. What does it mean? Technology will produce growth. Okay, not only growth of the GDP, but also growth of industrial organization, growth of the company, growth of the corporate, etc. Second, quality improvement of the product is possible. Third, the per unit prices can decrease, and so on and so forth. These are all positive economics, positive science, positive analysis, positive narration. For example, in our Indian society, different sections of the people live together. That is positive analysis. In terms of religion, in terms of caste, in terms of ethnic group, in terms of languages, so many people. India is so beautiful country, I must say, that we all live together. We all cherish living together. So this is positive. Normative is, this is how they should live, is normative. You are making a value judgment on how better we can live together. Merely living together is not sufficient enough. How better we can live. Say, for example, I'll give you a finance example. The government is coming out with corporate tax. Okay. They said that the corporate tax this year has to be increased from, say, 20% to 25%. I'm giving some example, okay? Hypothetical example. Now, this 5%, why this 5%? Why not 10%? Why not 2% decrease? You know, this additional decrease, this marginal tax rate can be anything. Marginal tax rate can be 2%, marginal tax rate can be 5%, marginal tax rate can be 10%. Now, that has to give you clear-cut, value judgment. Why this is like this? If you debate why, then it becomes normative public finance or normative finance. What is this normative finance? Sir, 10% will give you not only the revenue collection, because we are interested in revenue collection, our expenditure is increasing, but also will boost the growth rate of the public, the corporate sector that we are putting the tax. and also will not make any major redistribution of resources in the market. If this is done, sir, if you increase more than 10%, that is what you have to do research, okay? More than 10%, then there is a problem in the market, then there is a problem in the prices, revenue collection may not be that much great, and so on and so forth. So your analysis is not just drawing the theory. Your analysis is to ask the question. So far, I have been talking about positive. Draw the opinion from the theory, draw the opinion from the existing literature, existing body of knowledge, etc. Now you have to use your methodology of understanding your subject to ask a question. The fundamental question that you asked in research is valid, is correct, and is it fruitful for the entire society, individual, corporate, etc. This is a value judgment question that you would ask. Now, what I would suggest, this normative and positive analysis has to be conducted by both deductive and inductive logic. Say, for example, your induction can broadly derive a scope of analysis from positive signs, that is positive analysis. But your deduction has to be pitched on the normative approach. Therefore, the objectivity and the operationalization of the research becomes more meaningful and more useful to the society. Now, lastly, I will debate certain things. Motivation for research. These are all certain things that you read from any standard good books. I have downloaded some good books for you. अच्छा बुक पढ़ लेना. मैं भूल जाऊंगा इसलिए मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ. अच्छा खाना खाएंगे, आपको हेल्थ अच्छा रहेगा. मैं आपको हिंदी में इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ, मेरा हिंदी इतना अच्छा नहीं है, मैं साउथ इंडियन हूँ, इसके बावजूद मैं हिंदी बोलता हूँ. अच्छा खाना खाएंगे, आपको अच्छा हेल्थ. इंग्लिश. ओके. आप अच्छा खाना खाएंगे, आपको sorry, I am told that there are international audience. I must talk in English. Thank you for reminding me. I thought this I have forgotten. Look, gentlemen, if you eat good khana, good food, your health will be very good. If you eat bad food, you will have to go to doctor. Similarly, if you read good books, you will be a good researcher, good teacher, good individual, good analyst, good writer. If you read bad books means nothing is bad, but bad means it is not sufficient for you to grow. Like, for example, in India, typically C.R. Kothari book, that book, this book, it is okay for first year BCom level, not sufficient for your postgraduate or doctorate level analysis of research. Read good books. Good book will give you good understanding of the subject. It will take time. I have downloaded many books. You can use them. It will take time. Have a patience. Have a patience in research. If you don't have patience, you cannot do research. Sometimes you feel like crying. Sometimes you will abuse your guide. No. Have a patience. Read well. You will be a successful individual. Lastly, I would like to end with this slide. How do you select an empirical analysis? First, without interest, don't do anything. This is my experience, okay? My own experience suggests that for compulsion, for some other, factor propels you to take up some job or some research, it is not going to give you any benefit. So understand that without interest, don't take anything. Without interest, don't marry. Without interest, don't have food. Without interest, don't take bath. Similarly, without interest, don't select any empirical analysis for understanding. Second, it should be scientific, clear, and manageable. we have been talking about so far. Measurement issues and data. Data is a very big word, very big word. In fact, I request all of you to conduct only specifically on data. So for example, I thought of guiding somebody based on narratives. Narrative is a data collecting methodology, or collecting information from narratives. Narratives play a critical role in shaping the future society. Now, what kind of narrative you would like to follow? Whether the narrative is correct, whether the narrative is truthful exercise, etc., etc. Now, why I'm giving this example is, first data, understand the data, measure the data properly. इसके बारे में हमने already बात कर चुके हैं. Already I have talked to you on this matter. Expertise of the researcher. देखो, research scholar thinks that I am okay. Okay, research scholar thinks that I am okay. But when they start writing, they start having problem. That they are not able to proceed further. They are not able to articulate. They are not able to pen down anything. So research scholars should have various expertise. Reading, writing, these are all an art. It is not a mechanical exercise. Thought process, making the thought process to listen to you, making the thought process to write something is purely an artistic work that comes out of experience and practice. Please do that, researchers. There is no cakewalk. You know, if your idea is to just collect something here and there to get research degree, that's a different issue. Please don't do that. Then contemporary relevance, the empirical analysis that you choose should be relevant. Don't choose an irrelevant topic, already exercised topic. Then ethical issues, this is where I wanted to discuss. सुन लीजिए, आप मेहरबानी करके, please, I am requesting all of you, don't, from the beginning itself, don't think that you will copy here and there. This kind of process is taking place all over the world, and this is putting down all our academic community. One is, plagiarism. Second one is recycling. Third one is copying the work without quoting, without permission, etc. There are many ethical issues. There is a separate course on this by UGC run courses are there online, and I don't want to discuss this. So you follow all the ethical norms and ethical process that is required for research. Then availability of secondary data. If it is not available, if you want to build up a model for secondary, a particular issue based on secondary data, then data, if they are not available, then don't conduct your empirical analysis. Last, more important, very, very important, very, very important. Again, I am telling you, very, very important. Ensure that you get good mentor, good guide. The guide himself does not know the topic. Guide himself does not know the research. Guide himself does not know the things. I don't know how you will find out. There is no, standard formula for this. But if you get it into a guide who cannot guide you, you will simply waste your time. Now, these are the broad framework. मैं इसमें कुछ जो लिखा हूँ, कोई टेक्स्ट बुक में I have not taken from any standard textbook. This I have put everything from my experiences. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have only managed to show certain things. This is before starting any literature review, any data collection, any empirical methodology applied on this, modeling, estimation, before all these things, whatever I have to say, I have said it. Probably, I am just opening the door. You have to visit along, you have to go a long way. So with this small note, I'm saying best wishes to all of you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for patiently listening to me. Thank you, Bhagirath. Thank you, Dr. Malik. It's up to you now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Shubham. Yeah, sure. Really, a lot of information, and I hope all the participants, will benefit from this basic understanding. Putting the things in very, very easy language. So, and thanks for your, time at a very short notice. You have accepted to participate in this workshop. I am very thankful. But there are some, hands. If there are questions, I one by one request all the participants, to open their mic quickly. We can take 4 questions if you are quick.
Yes, gentlemen, you feel free to ask any question.
Good afternoon, sir. Amitash this side, sir. Thank you so much for this enlightening session. I have just 3 queries. So my first query is, in the slide, you mentioned what is not empirical research. So in that, there is a second point, not transporting the facts from one resource to another, and there's a priori conclusion about the findings. So in this case, I just wanted a better understanding of research I'm conducting currently. It's about chatbots, a role that chatbots play.
What is
in
your question,
customer
gentlemen?
satisfaction. Yes, sir. So my question is, sir, for example, sir, what is not empirical research? So I'm conducting a research in which I'm researching about the role that chatbots play in customer satisfaction.
Your voice is bit breaking. Can you be clear and louder, please? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir? Now, sir?
Yeah. Now I can hear you a bit. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. So in the slide, you mentioned what is not empirical research.
Yes.
That I just wanted to relate to a research I'm conducting currently.
Go ahead.
My research is about the role that chatbots play in customer satisfaction. So it is widely understood that, of course, it is a assisting tool for customers only. So it will definitely play a role, but I just wanted to see how much of it plays a role, because a lot of it depends upon how much the language or the data it is backed
No,
up.
fine. But what is the question? You put it in a short language. I will have to reply.
Will it be considered empirical research, considering the slide that you shared?
See, consumer satisfaction, purchasing decision, demand, all such things are a very complex issue, correct? It looks very simple, but it is a very complex. They are all very complex issues. Now, you have to be very clear. I don't know what you are actually referring to in terms of what is not empirical research from your point of view. But from my point of view, I have said that you cannot transport the problem from one device to another device or one form to another form and then say that it is research. Now what I'm only saying that you draw down your objective, draw down your theory, what you want. For example, purchasing decision. When you say purchasing decision, what kind of purchasing decision that you are referring to? Number one. Or purchasing decision by itself can be linked to consumer satisfaction or not. Number two. Number three, what are the factors that govern consumer satisfaction? Can I measure those factors? If I can measure, what way I can measure? All these questions, if you ask, put the facts together, depending on simply defining what is consumer satisfaction is one area. Second, what are the various dimensions of consumer satisfaction? Second, third, what are the factors that determine the consumer satisfaction? Whether this kind of thing can be practiced in a case or a context that you are analyzing, etc. These are the questions that you would ask. Accordingly, you will progress in understanding the theory and applying the theory. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Now let us move to next question. So Amitabh, if you are having more questions, you can write, later to this hour. We can convey. There are more hands, so let us give opportunity to others.
Please, next person, Shruti or somebody is there. Yes, go ahead.
Dr. Arshi Sultana, can you unmute and ask a question quickly? So next we are having Dr.
Hello?
Gausia. Yes, please go ahead.
Please go ahead.
Dr. Arshi Sultana, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. Hello.
Yes, good afternoon.
My research is based on macroeconomic variables
Okay.
and its impact on.
What is the research? What is the essential question?
Okay. When I downloaded the data of macroeconomic variables,
Okay.
For inflation rate, I got the data in terms of percentages. And when I downloaded the data for GDP, it was in rupees.
No. What you want to do? What you want to research? Would you like to measure the inflation? Would you like to find out the determinants of inflation? Would you like to forecast the inflation? Would you analyze analyzing the targeting?
Yeah, I
inflation?
tested the
What do you want?
impact. I tested the impact of inflation on stock market indices.
Okay, so you are trying to understand that how stock prices are influenced by the inflation, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is your question?
So the data I collected, like inflation rate is measured in terms of percentages. And the data of a stock market, it is in terms of indices. So generally when we use the Excel sheet, so for doing the calculation, we have to convert, like same series of data should be measured. Like suppose inflation is in percentage.
Yeah, agreed.
So
Go ahead.
we have to convert the stock market indices also in terms of percentages.
Correct.
But when I asked this question to my colleagues and to my surrounding people, by simply inserting the data of two different measures in the softwares like eViews.
Okay, I got your
SPSS.
question. Look, what you see, your idea is to understand across the different script, across the different stock prices, how inflation is impacting their prices, correct?
Yes.
Now the question is, these are all indexes. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, inflation is typically drawn from price index.
Okay.
Percentage change in the price index is known as inflation. Okay.
Okay.
There are methods which are typically analyzed in the advanced statistics book, which I will download and give it to Dr. Malik and Bhagirath. They will distribute to you. Read them. How to splice the index, how to convert the base, how to make it rolling, how to make fixed. All these things are standard models are given there. Okay.
Okay.
Follow the technique. That is number one. Number two, you can also construct your own stock index. You don't need to follow Nifty. You don't need to follow Bombay Stock Exchange or any other for that matter. Even individual stock, you can construct your own index based on the timing. Look, inflation is typically 15 days, one month, quarterly phenomena. That is, the frequency of the inflation is less as compared to the frequency of the prices that is related on the stock. So what you do is you select the time period, quarterly, monthly, whatever you want. Accordingly, corresponding stock prices you take, construct an index, and then take the percentage change, run the regression, understand. Regression has to be run, not mechanically. It has to follow theory. Whether the factor only inflation is there or any other factor is responsible for variations in the stock prices or not, that has to be properly understood. And then you measure, then you will get exact result. Okay, that is number one. Okay. Number two, you can also run on the absolute prices. There is nothing wrong. Not necessarily convert them into percentage change in the prices of the stocks. You can run on the absolute prices or absolute index. That is also possible. But when you interpret, don't interpret them as a percentage, but interpret them as an absolute price. Okay. Okay. Any other question? Very good question. This is a very good question. Anybody? Shruti?
Ritika Barik, we have unmuted you. Ritika Barik.
Hello, sir.
Yes, madam, go ahead.
You mentioned the point there, variables should be properly measured, and there you took the example of
what should be properly measured?
Variables should be properly measured.
Variables should be properly measured. Yes.
And there you took the example of taste and preferences, and then you explained lemon-based drinks. So can you please explain it again? I couldn't understand that point.
Okay. Any other question? Okay. Now, I'll give you one more example. I'll come back to lemon-based drink, but I'll give you one more example. Inflation, for example. Now, I have a strong theoretical, a sense of understanding that cyclical variations in the inflation impact stock prices. Please listen to me carefully. Cyclical variations in the inflation impact stock prices. Now, a time series has got a 4 component: trend, cycle, season, and random component. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, I have to take out all the unnecessary information. What is unnecessary information? I only want cycle. I don't want season. I don't want random. I don't want trend.
Yeah.
So if I simply take growth rate of inflation, I am measuring the variable improperly, not properly. If I take out only cycle, then I am measuring properly. Okay?
Okay.
Say, for example, in another case, trend in the inflation is impacting GDP growth. Trend in the inflation is impacting GDP growth. Second example I am giving you. In this case,
Okay.
I have to retain the trend. Other component of time series I have to eliminate.
Yes.
So depending on the context, what exactly the requirement of the information that is for the variable has to be understood. Now I am coming back to your taste and preferences. You are economic student?
Yes, sir.
See, we teach demand is the function of price, income, and taste and preferences, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, how do you measure the taste and preferences? It's a very technical question. It's a qualitative variable, correct?
Yes, sir.
But you have to understand what is taste and what is preference. Sometime commodity may not be demanded for taste. Commodity may be demanded for preference.
Preference. Yes.
Say, for example, I'll give you one more example. If I wear a t-shirt, I will wear only Peter England t-shirt, not something else. That is my preference. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
But my taste is t-shirt. My taste is t-shirt.
Mhm.
Similarly, lemon-based drink is just a taste, correct?
Taste. Yes. And
But within the
preferences.
lemon-based drink, I want Limca. I don't want any other thing. That is my preference. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
That is what I mean. So I hope you understood. Correct.
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you so much.
Ritika, still you can write to me. You can write to Bhagirath and Malik. Malik Saab and Bhagirath Saab will definitely get back to me. I am there to help you, all of you, in any given
Okay,
point
sir.
in
Thank you
time.
so much.
I will share my mobile number. You can go to Indian Econometrics website, and I request all of you to become member of the Indian Econometric Society. If not member, at least come to the Indian Econometric Conference. Okay, write some good paper. Come to Indian Econometric Conference. It's a very good conference. All of you can learn more. Still, I am learning from my seniors, so it will help you out. Okay, so all of you come.
Sir, one last question. Shruti,
Yes.
we have unmuted you. Shruti.
Yes, Shruti, go ahead. Okay, I think she is out or not able to get back to you people.
All right, we can end. Firdous Malik, sir, I am joining.
2 participants raised hand. One more question you can take if there is a time available. Otherwise, 1:20 already time is up.
Ankita, please ask.
Hi, sir. So, as you mentioned that theory or model oversimplify the reality, don't you think that it also impact our empirical research?
Which model? Which model?
Please be louder. Ankita, please be louder.
So, theory or model oversimplify the reality. So, when we do the research, don't you think that it may become the hurdle for the conceptual framework?
No, any model has to be parsimonious. Parsimonious means sufficient, neither simple nor complex. See what is happening in economic business scenario, particularly managerial process, business process, etc., the issue is very complex. Theoretical issue by itself is very complex. You have to bring down those complex issues to the manageable, identifiable, estimatable framework, correct?
Right.
Then only it will give you some sort of a guidance. If you go into more complexity, then broad guideline, that inductive framework will get eliminated. Inductive means overall generalized conclusion.
Right.
When you oversimplify, deductive methodology will get eroded. So you have to make a trade-off, find combination between what extent you have to be complex, yet the model is simple. Okay, that is what I mean.
And if you have a spare time, just for the 2 minutes, if you can
Yes.
differentiate between research objective and research question with example.
Okay. This is all very
Thank
elementary. I think you can go ahead with some textbook and read. However, I will tell you, see, research objective is a broad framework which targets, directs your researchability. Okay. Research question is more detailed analysis of your objective, a sequential analysis of your subjective, bit by bit step towards understanding the subject. For example, my objective is to forecast inflation. Okay, understood?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
If you're not understanding, you please stop me there. Okay, your
Right.
objective is to understand forecasting of inflation. Now, what are the research questions that will come into what is inflation? How do you define inflation? What kind of definition is appropriate? What kind of index number you will follow? What kind of model you will follow? And what kind of time series you will follow, etc. These are 5-6 questions that you ask is ultimately leading to forecasting. Is research. They are all research questions. Hope you understand.
So firstly, we have to set the objective, then
As
came to the
objective, without objective, you cannot go to question.
yeah.
You have to have objective first.
Right. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So now
Yes.
the question, now the
Yes, go
question
ahead.
and answer session is complete. I would like to invite Bhagirath to take the session.
Yes.
Dr. Bhagirath, are you there? Meanwhile, Professor Hebatallah Adam, she has joined us. If you want to share her opening remarks, you are welcome. Tell Dr. Bhagirath join us.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Malik. Participants, thank you so much for being a part of the first keynote session. I hope you got a perspective from somebody who has worked for years dealing with hardcore empirical questions. And we are really glad, enlightened, and happy to have Professor K. Shanmugan on board. We had a compact, wonderful session. 4 decades of insights were put into a few slides. You can understand the amount of effort and intensity that is required. Some books will be shared with you for your reference, and the PowerPoint presentation file will also be shared. Thank you once again, Professor Shanmugan, OP Jindal University and JKE for this platform. I hand over the session to Dr. Malik.
Okay. So we are now going to take the second inaugural session. So all the participants, I am requesting you, do you need 5 minutes of break or you want to continue? So kindly write us in chat box. So if you want to start by 1:30, then we can start by 1:30. If you want to continue, then I can start immediately. So kindly, write in chat box your, what you like to do. If you are tired, you want to take 5-minute break, we can, do that. If you like to, continue, so please write us in chat box quickly so that we can, please continue. So there is one. So I want more people to write so that, we'll take maximum. So one person, Sanil Kumar, is writing, yes, please continue. Anybody else? I want to go with your wish. Please write quickly. question answer session is complete. You have to write in a question and answer whether you want to continue or not. So I think all people are tired. They are not able to write. So let us take 3-minute break. After 3 minutes, we'll be back here. After 3 minutes, we will be joining with our second keynote speaker, Professor Hebatallah Adam. So you can have a water near and come together. Within 3 minutes, 1:30, we will be sharp joining again. Thank you very much. So are we back? So we can take 2 more minutes. 1:35. We are going to start. So we are having 2 more minutes. So then we will. Meanwhile, there are some hands. Balaram, if you are there, kindly raise your query. So, Professor Hiba, are you ready?
Yes, we can start.
Okay.
So is my screen is
Yeah, your screen is visible. You can make it, full slide.
okay.
So, good afternoon, everybody. So we are back for our second keynote speaker session. We'll be speaking Professor Dr. Hebatallah Adam. He is an academician, editor, scholar, having more than 20 years of teaching experience in international economic development. He is currently professor at OP Jindal University. He is also acting as an academic dean. He is teaching mastering program at School of International Affairs, JSI. He is the founder of OP Jindal Center for Global South. So we are very thankful for her collaboration to making this, 1 week online international program possible. So she is working at OP Jindal University OP Jindal Global University, Haryana, India. Before this, she was an assistant professor at Department of Economics, Faculty of Business, at Shams University, Cairo, Egypt. She is basically the citizen of Cairo, Egypt. Dr. Adam is the visionary behind establishing the Jindal Center for Global South, a distinguished research center affiliated with Jindal University, Global University, and is affiliated to School of International Affairs. The primary mission of her, Jindal Center for Global South is to promote cutting-edge research in the field such as Global South studies. He is having a number of, books, edited books, which are ongoing on Global South. So South-South Corporation and Sustainable Development. Beyond that, it inspires to become an intellectual hub that fosters inventive solutions to the problems uncovered by the Global South. Dr. Adam has founded the African Dialogue Forum, ADF, an initiative to bring together a coalition of organizations and intellectuals. And she is committed to advancing the better African case by joining ADF. The ADF is a forum for substantive conversations with the international renowned experts, academicians, and influential African thought leaders. These dialogues are centered on extensive research and promoting innovative ideas and solutions to achieve measurable and sustainable transformation across Africa. Dr. Adam has earned her BA, MA, and PhD degrees from universities in Egypt and France, including Departmental Digesto Commerce International DGCI at the Faculty of Business at Chalmers University and University of France, and also AIA de Paris. She has numerous publications in poverty, financial inclusion, fintech, global south, international development, development finance. Additionally, she has supervised masters and PhD students from both India and Egypt. Dr. Adams' research interest is related to global south studies, political economy of development, international trade, green economics, and international development economics. With these words, I welcome to our second keynote speaker, Dr. Heba, over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Firdous, for this kind introduction and kind words that you have given right now. So, and thank you all the participants for joining our 1 week workshop for research methodology. I shall be brief in my speech today regarding data sovereignty and equitable development, a path forward for the Global South, because I would like to highlight at the end of my presentation what is the relationship in data sovereignty and Global South and the topic of our 1 week workshop on research methodology. So let me start first by talking about data and how data are considered to be important to the whole world, but specifically for the Global South. So right now we consider data as the new oil, because without having data, we will not be able to take the right decision for all kinds of fields, like in national security, in production, in decision making, in all kinds of industries. So we need to have information and to know how to deal with data and information, how to save data, how to transfer data.
Dr. Heba, sorry for inconvenience. Your sound is breaking. The sound is breaking. Can you correct it?
Okay, just give me a minute.
And if you are able to open your video, please open.
Oh, yes. So is it clear right now? What about the sound?
Yes. Sound is clear.
So I hope it is clear because I'm using my AirPods.
Yes.
So, okay, so what I was telling is that about the importance of data for all people, all kinds of like governments, international organizations, for industry, for entrepreneurs, for individuals. So we all need to have data. And data management is specifically a challenging topic for Global South. And we will know in the next slides what is the reason for for that challenging situations that data is having for the global south. So let's start first by understanding the concept of data sovereignty. What does it mean, data sovereignty? So data sovereignty is referring to that idea that a country or a society should have the authority and all kind of rights to govern and control data generated within its borders. And which means that governments should have the power to regulate collection of data, storage of data, processing of data, distribution of data that originates within its territory. So here, data sovereignty is about that concept that data is not a casual topic to discuss. Data is an important topic, and it is subject to laws of the country or the region where this data was generated. But if we, so here we can say that data sovereignty is, as a broader notion of data sovereignty, is about the national sovereignty, our national security. So we should have a full control over data about our country, how to process it, how to store it, how to distribute it, and how to regulate the collection and the security of the data that have been originated within our territory. But for the global south, data is challenging. It is considered to be a challenging or a critical topic of discussion, because many of global south countries they are not like fully independent in their data sovereignty management. So most of these developing nations, they are still dependent on foreign technologies and platforms, which is leading them to a situation where you can say there is a kind of lack of control over their data and how they use and collect and distribute all kind of data. So if you are here, as I have mentioned, data is a data sovereignty, or data, generally speaking, is about a concept of national security. So if you are a country which is dependent on another country or another region to manage and provide platforms and technology to manage their own data, this will lead to a situation of vulnerability. And sometimes it can create like critical situations of and risky situation of data breaches, and of course it will hamper our national security, and in some cases also it can lead to an erosion of our culture identity. So moving to the next point is that now to focus more on the global south, what are the challenges and opportunities when we are speaking about data sovereignty for the global south? So, of course, definitely it is, yes, there is some to pursue data sovereignty for the global south. We can say it is at the same time, it presents both challenges and opportunity. Let's start first with challenges, because here this is our main vulnerability lies in the challenges that we are facing. First of all, that build all the necessary infrastructure and capacity to manage a large scale of data for a whole economy for a country. So this will be definitely a resource intensive task to do. And in most of global south countries, they are already suffering from economic development challenges, and they are having a need for finance. So to add more on their development needs. Another need is to build a full infrastructure for data management on a large scale. So definitely this will be a challenging situation for them. So the first challenge is it is a resource intensive task to have that capacity to build a full infrastructure and to have the human capacity which is able to manage a large scale data for a country, and to provide, of course, a fast details about the country and to give all the required information regarding our economy performance. So this is the first challenge. The second one is that for global South countries, especially for the least developed countries in, like for example, in Africa or some countries in Latin America or Asia, the ability to navigate the complex international landscape of data governance would be a challenging task, again, another challenging task for them, because they are not getting access to certain technological platforms. There is some, of course, restrictions imposed by developed nations for their access, and it requires, again, to have financial capability to access certain platforms. So again, this is another a challenging point for them. But however, we should all admit that it is important that one of the key points for like key, that I would consider it to be like a key cornerstone for any development plan for any countries, that we should have infrastructure. And by infrastructure, it is not only meant to have roads, airports, and water and provide electricity. We are now in the 21st century, so we need to have beyond that. We need to have to be deeply involved in the fourth industrial revolution, and to have digital infrastructure and know how to manage data in order to attain our full data sovereignty. So what are the opportunities that lies behind like the ability to know how to manage and to maintain our data sovereignty in the global South? First of all, the first main opportunity, as I have already mentioned, is to promote economic development. Because when we will have the accurate data that covers all the regions and sectors and all departments and individuals and firms in our countries, this will give us the ability to create more job opportunities, to know where is lack of opportunities that we have in our country and how can we provide the most adequate solution, and also to know which kind of public services that the governments need to provide. And of course, we will find solutions that will make our country to be able to attract foreign direct investments and also indirect investment. So it is a necessary starting point for any economic development plan for any country, is to have a data sovereignty and to build their infrastructure capacity, to have that full capacity to manage their data. Secondly is to protect culture heritage. As I have mentioned in my first slide, that there is some risk related to not having the ability to or that we are dependent on foreign countries to provide data about our country, or like platforms to manage data or to provide data to our citizens. So this is one of the main challenges that are challenging or providing a risk to our culture identity. So if we are doing this by ourselves, so this will protect our culture heritage, and can use data to preserve and promote local languages, traditions, and knowledge. Another opportunity is to enhance, of course, national security, since to have a full control over your data sovereignty, and it is a kind of itself of a national security. So this, of course, will lead to national security as it helps to mitigate risks. Of course, you will have all kind of information for national security, data breaches, any kind of risks that are related to our relations with the foreign countries, or the inside risks that we are facing in different fields like economic or climate change or business sector. So we can have an early warning mechanism that detects risks and give us, of course, this will give us the ability to react in a fast and flexible manner. So this is for challenges and opportunities related to data sovereignty in Global South. And since we already do have lots of challenges, so let's together a path forward for the Global South, what we need to do in our developing countries. First of all, and this is the most important thing, is to pay more attention to infrastructure, digital infrastructure, and to invest more in digital infrastructure. So we must build a robust and reliable digital infrastructure systems that, of course, will cover all regions and areas in our country. And of course, this will involve investing in broadband connectivity, data centers, cybersecurity capabilities. Also, we need to have here in digital infrastructure, we need to have reforms of laws that are related to data protection and all kind of customer also protection related to data. So here, this is an important starting point. Secondly is to develop local data ecosystems to foster growth of local data ecosystems, which can create opportunities for innovation and job creation. And of course, this will help the business sector, generally speaking, but specifically startups, research institutions, and data analytics companies and universities. The third recommendation that we are giving today is to strengthen data governance framework to protect data privacy, ensure accountability, and promote transparency. So here, this is again a challenging point for developing countries because we need to have more, to set more generally speaking in developing countries, to have accountability, transparency, and governance system. So more attention should be given to data governance. Again, we cannot do all this by our own. So of course, we need to have international cooperation with our within our region in Global South, with other countries in Global South, or with Western countries. So collaboration is a must, because we need to have a knowledge transfer, and because we cannot do all by ourselves. So we need to share best practices and how we can manage data to especially for security management in data and cybersecurity. So we need to also to learn from other countries how we can set the best data governance system in our country. Finally, the final point is very important point and critical point in my discussion in the topic of my session today, is to to build capacity or capacity building. So we cannot do all these things without having human capital development, without investing in human capital development, because this is the only way to protect our own data management. It should be done within the country by Indians or by Egyptians or by Nigerians. So we should build our own human capital, which will be able to manage the system in the future and maintain its stability. That's why we need more training and upskilling of individuals in data science, analytics, and cyber security. And from here, we can say that this is that ending point in my presentation, which relates to the topic of our session, that why our Center for Global South has taken that initiative to organize 1 week of research, empirical research methods in social sciences, and to give our participants an introduction to statistics, econometrics, and big data. So it is because of that reason, because in Global South, we need to have capacity building of our Global South citizens. And we are always taking initiatives to organize such kind of conferences or training workshops. So I am delighted to have that collaboration with Jammu and Kashmir Economic Association, the lead of Dr. Firdous Malik, and of course we have in our team Dr. Bhagirath Baria. So thank you for helping in organizing this team, and we will of course extend our collaboration for future similar workshops to empower Global South more and more. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your beautiful presentation. What do you, Professor Bhagirath? Are you with us?
Yeah, Dr. Malik, I'm with you.
So you can give, we are going to take question and answer, or we can conclude now?
Now we can take two or three questions. Anybody would like to raise a question? I also have a query, but before that, we'll allow participants to ask. Manish R. Patel has raised hand.
Participants have to unmute themselves because they have, closed the chat option. And we are again, requesting Professor Hebatallah Adam. From tomorrow, we are, in need of to have this conference meeting rather than seminar meeting, because we are having limited options. We want our participants to interact face to face. They can open the mic, they can, write in chat. So today this option is disabled. So yes, continue.
Yes, sure. I have already sent the request to IT people. No issue.
Yeah, and we need control. We need as a host. Once I will be the host,
Agreed.
So I can record on my own. I can, do the things. So we need only link. Rest of the things we can take care of them.
Yeah, but always IT teams, they are with us here. In case it is required, we can ask them for assistance. I will also
Yes.
ask them. Yes.
Yeah, I requested them to make us host so that we can, run all the sessions successfully without it.
Yes.
So let us
Sure.
take the question and answer. Please, Bhagirath.
Yeah, I think Manish R. Patel is not able to ask. So, ma'am, firstly, thank you so much for a wonderful session. What a critical topic that you have touched. Nations are spending large amount of money on building local data ecosystems. Take, for example, India, which has created something called India Stack, and it is trying to bring together all the national level databases in one single source to allow different players to access them. But I have one concern with this, with regards to creating local data ecosystems. In Global South, there are a diversity of countries, some being really doing well financially, economically, some not doing that well. How would those countries which are not doing so well be able to create local data ecosystems, because they are already starving of financial resources? Is there some international agency that would help them? Is there some other way that you can perhaps shed a little light on, ma'am? Please.
Yes. So that's why, yeah, of course, we have already, like I will give an example for India. India is so much active in South-South cooperation efforts in Africa. And so many agreements have been signed by African nations to enhance knowledge sharing in different fields, in higher education and in IT technology. Similarly, also for China. So the way out is to have more solidarity. This is what I have mentioned in my talk, is that we need to have solidarity between global South countries, and it is already there, but we need to have it more, and to also not to leave it fully to the governments to manage that solidarity. So we are trying as a Center for Global South also to establish connections and channels of collaboration between India here and Egypt, or South Africa, other parts of Global South in Africa or in Asia or Latin America. So yes, the answer to that is for African, like an example of developed countries in sub-Saharan Africa, India has taken a lead to provide them assistance in technology, in infrastructure building, not only in technology, but there are so many examples, and India is so much active with African and West African nations in this regard.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for a very clear and concise response. Thank you. Anybody else? Ankita is raising hand. Ankita, please unmute yourself for Dr. Malik, if you can see the option of unmuting her.
Yes,
Hello.
clear on.
Hi, ma'am. I want to ask, in the process of exchanging data or information, how we can maintain the individual privacy? Because there is also the attack on individual privacy, especially in the context of Global South.
Between countries?
So how the privacy of how the individual privacy of Global South can be maintained when we have to exchange the ideas, data, information from one nation to another?
There are already international agreements that are they are already there established to protect the data and transparency and all kind of consequences related to exchanging data between countries or between individuals. So it is there established, but what I wanted to highlight in my presentation is that, or in my talk, is that we need to do more efforts in Global South, because the issue is that we are dependent on foreign platforms, on foreign service providers. So what we need is to have a kind of independency in having our system of data infrastructure and provision and monitoring. So we need to have that kind of independency, not to be fully dependent or partially even dependent on global norm. Because sometimes there's some kind of data breach, or it can be also challenging situation, like what has happened in Russian-Ukraine war, when they have stopped the SWIFT for Russia. So we need to also to have an alternative system to manage our banking system and to provide another solution. Imagine that if Russia has succeeded to do it, but if the similar kind of sanction have been imposed on an African country, so the full banking system would have been just collapsed, and they would have faced real economic and financial problem. So if you are investing in your first human development, we should have more engineers, more people that are able to be upskilled and to know how to manage data, and to have more schools in data management and security and cybersecurity. Besides that, of course, we need to have more attention regarding our laws and reforms to establish like a stable data system and a full like stable ecosystem. So I hope I have answered the question, Ankit. Any other question?
Thank you so much, Madam. You very clearly addressed the issue. And another question is there. Sandeep Arya, I think, raised hand. Now it is down. Sandeep Arya, please raise your question by unmuting yourself. The last question we are taking up. Sandeep Arya.
I think he is not there. You can continue. Yes, you can proceed.
Yeah, so I think we have come to the conclusion of the second keynote session today. And Professor Hebatallah, Madam, wonderful lecture. You have touched a very, very sensitive topic. Let me tell you, this is not just a topic of discussion. It's a matter of intense geopolitics. And data is the next oil. And countries are starving to create strong, massive data ecosystems, which you have very correctly pointed out. I think we had a very compact full session, and several queries were raised. As expected, and as we have assured you, after the session is over, participants, we will be sharing the details with you, PPT files, etc. We sincerely thank Professor Hebatallah to share her expertise, her vast knowledge, her intense understanding of the subject in such a lucid manner that even a layperson who must have not heard about the topic, data sovereignty, would be easily able to understand. And it's a great opportunity to collaborate with Jindal University, with the global Jindal Center for the Global South, and to learn about how it is creating efforts to promote data cooperation across the borders. We are really glad that this keynote session happened, and we had two wonderful compact keynote sessions. I think participants, now we should gear up for the workshop. The core work starts from tomorrow. We will meet as usual at 6:20 p.m. You all will log in, and one by one sessions will occur. Dr. Malik, I am done, and you may conclude the day for today's entire proceeding.
Okay, thank you very much. Before I, formally end this inaugural session, I am having some queries to share with the participants. From tomorrow, we will be a bit strict in the rules and regulations, because most of the participants, they are joining by the name of their phone, by the name of their laptop. So it should be, reflect your name as a registered name, which you have done in your registration form. So there should not be iPad, Android, and all. This is not, accepted. So from tomorrow, if you are going to do same practice, so let me tell you, tight rules and regulations, we will remove you from the session. So you have to be very sincere. We want, good ecosystem without
Very
any
correct.
discipline. So this is one thing.
Very, very correct.
And second is that most of the participants, as we are trending, we are dealing with the data, trending, innovations, and whatnot. But I think there are more than 50 participants who have not, opened their emails, because all the registered participants, I have sent 3 times email. I have acknowledged your participation and your registration. I have shared your Zoom link. I have shared your Zoom background. But still some participants, that shows that some people are not serious. But all who are here, they are serious. But we should be very mature and we should educate ourselves. These type of behaviors are termed as digital illiterate. So therefore, if you have to revolutionize yourself, you have to cope up with the new global world, what is happening, AI, and they are taking the place. If you are not opening the mail and reading what is written there, so definitely you will lose the opportunities in the coming emerging markets, whether it is a job, whether any sort of opportunity. Therefore, we are kindly advising you to look into your emails, check your spam or junk files, and be updated. So we will be sharing your email regarding the updating sessions and Zoom links. We are also sharing for your benefit on WhatsApp, taking your queries. But if you are not joining the WhatsApp group and somebody those have shared their phone numbers which are invalid phone number, then yesterday I was trying to reach them because they have done the registration. I tried to make so many efforts to reach them, but there were some people who didn't attend the phone. They didn't respond the email. So all those who are here, I have shared for you also the WhatsApp link here. So I have given my number in the Zoom link with my email. Reach us. We can provide you all the possible solutions to your query. So these were
Yeah,
the
so
things. Yes,
so
please go ahead.
yeah, so Dr. Firdous, please send them again another email today with all these instruction, because it should be sent by email. So just email them again, so we will be in safe side. Besides, also texting them the same instructions on WhatsApp. So
I have,
just shoot,
yes.
shoot another email to them today.
Yeah, I am following the process. Finish day one. I have sent them email. Then next is WhatsApp is easy communication. WhatsApp we created for easy communication. And one more important point I want to highlight here with respect to your registration. In registration, there are so much I can say interesting or but surprising write-ups. So in gender, somebody is writing something different. And if you are not writing your name properly and affiliation properly, email ID properly, so at the end, we will be unable to provide you the certificate. Or if we provide the certificate, there will be error. So later we do not have time. Let me tell you categorically, later we do not have time after finishing the workshop. If you are entering wrong information, we will be not responsible to provide you again and again the certificate. So therefore, I request you all, as you are well educated, doing research, whether faculty or student, we have to change our behavior. We have to update ourselves. We have to respond to email. So this is also, I will not take much more time. If anybody is having any query, they can rise quickly. Then I will conclude the session for them.
Dr. Malik, just allow me for a one short announcement.
Yes.
Given that we have to maintain sincerity and the quality of workshop, we will be conducting a short Google form based MCQ test at the end of the entire workshop. It will be shared with all the participants, and it will be compulsory to appear for the test in order for you to be eligible for the certification. So along with attendance, that last short MCQ test will be very important as an assessment. And don't worry, they will not be very complicated, but they will test your conceptual clarity. Dr. Malik, please go ahead and kindly conclude the session.
Thank you. So as we are at the end of our session, the inaugural session, I am taking this opportunity to give my vote of thanks. Good afternoon, everybody. As we come close to this enriching and thought-provoking 1 week international workshop, it is my honor and privilege to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks to our esteemed keynote speaker, Professor K. Shugman, and Professor Dr. D.K. and Professor Hebatallah Adam. Your insightful presentations have been quite instrumental in deepening our understanding about the basics of the data analysis by Professor K. Shugman, and now the interesting topic by Professor Hebatallah Adam about data sovereignty. So the wealth of knowledge you have shared, the innovative perspective you brought, and the passion with which you delivered your session truly inspired all of us. Your contributions have not only enriched this workshop, but will continue to resonate our minds and guide us our work moving forward. On behalf of Jammu and Kashmir Economic Association, Jindal Center for Global South, Jindal OP Global University, I express our deepest gratitude to both of you for making your time and sharing your expertise with us. We recognize and appreciate the hard work and dedication that went in preparing your thoughtful, provoking presentation, especially the presentation of Professor K. Shugman. He touched very basics and provide clear foundations for the research beginners or for the researchers who are having experience. But he touched quite necessary things which are missing in the life of a researcher. So I would also like to extend my appreciation to all participants for their active engagement throughout this day. Your enthusiasm and your curiosity has made this event a success. So once again, I am very thankful to my friend, Dr. Bhagirath. He is the planner of this workshop. He has done everything. He formulated the workshop, syllabus, course, and everything. So for his invaluable contributions, I am very thankful. We hope to continue this collaboration in future and wish the best in continued endeavors. With these words, I am once again thanking you all.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you,
So
everybody.
now,
Take care.
yes, but at the end we were taking group photos, but today there is no option. So
Tomorrow
let
we'll
me,
take. Tomorrow we'll take.
yeah, tomorrow this
Tomorrow.
option should be there. So let us, we three will take one photograph.
Yeah,
And
please.
meanwhile, those participants, if you are having any sort of query, kindly reach on WhatsApp. We will be there 24/7.
Correct.
Thank you
Correct.
very much. Now we can leave and we can have lunch.
Okay, thank
Bye-bye.
you so
Take care.
much. So please stop recording IT and thanks and end the session. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. We are now leaving. So, okay, take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.